Hi, I'm V. Adams. I'm with Waste Pro of Alabama. We are the sponsors of Blue Sky, Green Earth, the art competition, and we're here at Good People Brewery, one of our partners in this event, and it's thrilling. We're having an art competition where Waste Pro is buying pieces of furniture from artists. They're competing for these purchases, and this all started because we wanted to decorate a room with furniture made from recyclables. And you get online and you're looking for these things, and it's not so easy to come by. So it kind of just roller coastered and spiraled into, hey, let's have an art show. And it's been an adventure to be involved with this and a blessing to meet all these artists, their fabulous work. We're just thrilled. So here we are, Blue Sky, Green Earth 2012, and hopefully this is going to turn into an annual event.
Hi, my name is Keith Feynman. I work at American Printing Company as we are here right now. This is my chair that I'm entering in the contest. Found out about it, and V pushed me and I took on the challenge. I tried to get as many different mediums involved. We've got paper and plastic and wood. We've got pallets and boxes and plastic strapping, and we've got some braided paper up front here. I've always been involved with crafts and woodworking and that sort of thing, and again very involved in the recycling here at American Printing Company. We try to recycle everything that we go through here, from paper and plastics. Most of this material came from our recycling facilities here at the plant. This all started with this wood up here. It's basically the top of a pallet that I stripped down into thin strips, and I started weaving it, and that was basically the first thing I did. The base of the chair is pretty much corrugated with some paper in it, and we've got some tubing down here to bring it together. The strapping will basically keep the chair stable. The pillow here has, it's mostly shrink wrap that comes off the trim of our shrink wrap machine. Basically a lot of cardboard glued together, sandwiched, and a lot of hard work.
I'm Jay Pigford, and I work at Architecture Works. I'm a partner there, and I, in my spare time, like to dabble in crafts and building things, and found this competition very interesting because it was taking a given set of materials and constructing something that you may not normally find in those materials. So I built a table out of cardboard, wood pallets, and cardboard tubes. And generally the construction process was pretty loose. I went and got the materials from Waste Pro, and then we got them back here and just really started brainstorming about how to put them together. And I wanted to use the cardboard tubes in a way that normally you see them standing up, and people have done this kind of recycled furniture routine, and I wanted to use them in a different way and really use kind of the physics of the tube and the strength of the tube, which is its circular proportion, and build that into the base of the table. And so I laid them on the edge, and so they stack up, and they use kind of gravity and their own weight and the table weight to really hold them in place. And then used wood pallets and breaking them apart. That was probably the hardest part of the whole table, is just getting them disassembled. But once we had the boards and pieces, we ripped a lot of the boards down to make the tabletop, and and then you also use cardboard intermixed with that to create a pattern and an interesting texture to the tabletop. So, and all that's assembled with some steel rods to the kind of the middle of it all, and then that's held up with some pallet boards that serve as the supports for the tabletop. And all of it really just sits kind of in a gravity setting. There's nothing really screwed together. You can pull it all apart and make it into a coffee table. Really, you can lower it, raise it, add to it. So it's very deconstructible, even as it sits right now. So I think it turned out as well as I could have hoped.
I'm Dwight Hostetter. I've been involved in woodworking for about 32 years, ever since I first got enough money to buy some equipment. I've been living up here in the Birmingham area for about 20 years, and I enjoy woodworking. I'm a retired radiation supervisor from the Southern Nuclear Operating Company. I retired about 2 years ago, so now I have a little more time to do my hobby, which is woodworking. For this competition, I received an email from V. Adams, and she told me, or she indicated to come to the meeting, so I went to the meeting and I saw all the stuff they had there at Waste Pro, and she encouraged us to build things out of a lot of different materials, but I'm a woodworker and I don't deal with very many other materials, so I decided to use wooden pallets. I milled most of it by using a drum sander and milled them flat, and then I started matching them up, and I came up with some designs on paper, sketches, sort of how I want to build the table, and I started following one of the designs, and I ended up with a diamond pattern on the tabletop with diamond cutouts in the legs. Then I wanted to build a chair too, but I didn't have any real good plans for chairs, so I found my grandmother's, one of my grandmother's chairs I had inherited, and so I started taking measurements off of it, and for the most part copied it and just changed a few of the dimensions. And so I was able to build a chair too. And to keep in with the same pattern with the table, I decided to put some diamonds in the chair back, and so that leads a continuity between the chair and the table. I mentioned before, the chair is a copy of my grandmother's, one of her dining room table chairs she received as a wedding present. So the chair I copied off of was probably over 100 years old. I took measurements off of it, but to meet the specs for the Waste Pro, I had to enlarge a couple of the dimensions, and then I also added the diamond pattern in the back here just to match it up with the table. It's probably not built as well as my grandmother's was, but it ought to last if nobody mistreats it. And since the pallets have a lot of nails in them, getting the nails out was really hard to do. And some of the pieces I never got all the nails out, so I had to figure out how to cut around the nails. Where I could, I cut around the nail holes so you wouldn't see the nail holes. But every single board I used in the table and chair were made from pallets. I tried once before using pallets, and I said never again, but this contest created a new excitement or new challenge out there, so I went ahead and did it for this contest.
Hi, I'm Michelle Reynolds. I'm a slipcover designer and maker. So my business is all about recycling. I take people's favorite sofas and chairs and some fabric and I cover it to give it new life, revive, refresh for the sofa, give it an attitude adjustment. The slipcover scraps that pile up in the corners I take and make fabric art out of. And for this contest, when I heard about it, I thought it would be a fun idea to take my plastic bags that people bring me full of fabric, or the plastic bags that I use to deliver. They're just ordinary trash bags. So I thought I would take the plastic bags and make fabric out of. So white plastic and clear plastic, when you iron them together between two pieces of parchment paper, you get this very strong Tyvek type fabric. You can't tear it, and it's easy to sew. So I decided to make a slipcover. I used a chair from my neighbor's trash pile and saved it from the landfill, going to the landfill, and made a slipcover with the pieces of plastic fabric. I used the green, and blue stitching, since the contrast name is Blue Sky, Green Earth. And I sewed little designs in it, gave this chair a new life. Kudos to Waste Pro for coming up with this contest to involve the artists of the community to come up with innovative ways of recycling, using recycled goods to make fun, functional objects. I've never sewn with plastic before, and I think that I could see using it more often.
My name is John Butler. I'm a exhibit fabricator for the McWane Science Center. I received a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in sculpture at UAB. While at UAB, I convinced my professors to let me focus on furniture. I make contemporary furniture that uses found objects and architectural as lines to make semi-organic shapes. Whenever I got into the Waste Pro project, I got really excited whenever we were going through the facility and saw the cardboard cores. The main piece that I started off with was a table made out of cores. Due to the fact that they're cores, it makes it very difficult for anyone to write on it, or because of all the voids, and then decoupage on the face of all these great National Geographics that I got out of the Waste Pro facility. After finishing decoupaging them, I'm going to use resin to firm up the structure so that it can be a usable table and put a nice solid top on it. The second piece that I started working on was the very large, bulky, square-esque chair. I started by stacking a bunch of the cores up and seeing how I could remove the cores to make the structure of a chair after making a big square of them, or cube. I found that I could remove the cores in certain areas to give it some more airy feeling. The third piece that I started working on was a piece that has a layer of cores and then a layer of bundled National Geographics that is held together primarily with just tension produced by regular plastic strapping that people would use to hold materials onto pallets and things of that nature. The fourth piece that I'm working on is using the same strapping material. I'm going to weave in a seat in the back into a rebar skeleton of a chair and see how that comes out.